Welcome to our show. You're listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections, a place to learn about and celebrate creative arts therapy. Each week we'll explore new ways that music, art, and dance can reach, connect with, and help individuals of all stages of health and wellness. Hi, I'm Bree Bynan, a board-certified music therapist and the managing partner for the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute. Tune in as I interview professionals from healthcare and educational backgrounds on the impact of the creative arts. If you prefer to watch our live video stream, simply visit www.pbmti.com. Hello, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. I'm your host, Bree Gordon, a board-certified music therapist here locally with the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute. If you are joining us for the first time, thank you so much for just stopping here, whether it's on your dial or on Facebook, to tune in. Just to let you know what you can expect from the next hour is solely still, it blows my mind every week. I get an hour every week to share with everybody the creativity, the amazing compassion that is going on in our community, nationwide, sometimes globally, just to shine a spotlight on some of these individuals who are doing that out of the box type of thinking when it comes to healthcare, wellness, education, our community. And today is no exception. I mean, I'm so thrilled to have someone who I've personally known for a little while now to come on the show, promote their business, but also just to really have an open conversation about what it means to live authentically and to be, truly genuine in your relationships and what that means, particularly as a woman. Now, if you're not a woman, don't stop listening or stop watching, because we're going to talk about how this idea of balancing this masculine and feminine energy, it really benefits everybody, So stick around, because if it doesn't speak to you personally, I guarantee it speaks to someone in your life. And we're talking about relationships today and relationships with others, but also with ourselves. I'm getting real deep real fast because, first of all, if you have listening from the last hour, I just had the awesome honor of being on Rabbi Jenny's show from 5 to 6 today, and where I'm usually just kind of prepared to say who I am, what I do, what music therapy is, where I work, and it was yeah, that's fun, but what I want to know is you. And we're talking about new beginnings, right? And what does that mean for you? Last week we talked about letting go of something you don't want to bring into the new year and what you want to carry with you, and it got real fast. And it got me really excited for this conversation with Nicole Zekas, who we're going to be talking to after the commercial break. I just want to read you a little bit about Nicole. Nicole is the founder of The Unguarded Heart, where she is a women's empowerment coach, sharing her own personal stories of challenge and triumph, inspiring others to do the same. Like many other women Nicole is connected with, she struggled to find her true voice and embrace the parts of her that made her who she is. Going through her own transformative journey of discovering the beauty of empowerment and vulnerability, Nicole created a sacred space and community at The Unguarded Heart for women to fall in love with themselves, recognize their strength, and live from their heart. It's going to be an awesome hour. If you don't know already, we're a few months in now, but so excited to be at our new home on 95.3 FM. We're still rocking it every week at 1470 AM. Thank you to those loyal listeners who've been joining us along our journey. On Facebook Live, if you aren't watching it already and you're not driving and you're in a safe place to watch Facebook Live, please join us at Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute on Facebook. We are live there. We are on Twitter, PBMTI, and AMP2 TV. I guess there's Periscope going on. I'm still feeling too old to know what Periscope is. One of these weeks, I promise, I will take some time and learn about it, because apparently folks are joining us over there too. So again, thank you for your support. As I think about going into this new year and all the opportunities that come from a brand new year, a brand new beginning, taking this show into the new year and the possibilities of it and the connections, pun intended, and the relationships that have grown from it is something that I'm really, really thankful for. So your support is how that's even possible. One thing that I wanted to point out about what I just read about Nicole, I thought was really cool, is discovering her own transformative journey, going through her own transformative journey of discovering the beauty of empowerment and vulnerability. I just want to focus on that sentence because honestly, that was probably one of the biggest things for me last year. When Rabbi Jenny asked me about what is this new beginnings mean to you, is that empowerment and vulnerability were not synonymous things or belonged in the same sentence to me. I didn't even realize it, that was that deep for me. And this whole idea of and concept of emotional integrity became known to me. I didn't even know what that was. And a few things were showing up in my life, in relationships, in work relationships, in personal relationships, in my own personal development, where this became clear to me that this is a thing. This is an issue. I shouldn't say an issue, but this is a challenge that I wasn't even aware I was really living with, because I was of the belief that people pleasing is a badge to be worn. I really did, and I took a lot of pride in that I could keep people around me what I thought was happy, and I didn't know that there's so much deeper than that there's so much more underneath that, and there's so much richness, and I still don't know the depth of that. I'm still learning. So this idea of being empowered, but also vulnerable, was almost kind of opposites for me, I think, because vulnerability and being really honest and being really emotionally genuine, authentic, meant I had to share what was really going on. That didn't feel empowering to be. That felt like, in my perception of it, was a weakness, and I didn't even realize it. So the fact that I'm kind of aware to this whole idea, I have to just share, and if you did listen to Rabbi Jenny earlier, I apologize for repeating myself, but the way that has shown itself to be a real positive for me and something that I really want to continue working on is this idea that I could be honest at work and say, hey, I'm overwhelmed. I got a lot going on. I think that I need to ask, that instead of saying at the end of the year, oh my gosh, profits are so great, just how can I take some of that money and hire someone to help me and to do accounting and to do scheduling and all these things that I've held on to so tightly because I knew how everything ran. The idea of allowing someone into that space and trusting them was huge for me. And guess what? Business doubled as a result of that, and I'm not perfect and I'm still working on it, but that was wow, that's okay. That's okay to get help in that way. And I can't even begin to tell you the way that it's affected relationships, personal relationships, the richness that comes from just having an honest moment of, I'm not okay right now. I'm sad, I'm upset, or I'm truly happy. The authenticity of your joy as well. You feel it so much more. You just feel everything so much more when you're honest about it, rather than, this smile all the time. And, one of the things that scared me about my journey was that people would say, well, what's behind that smile, right? And I didn't want to lose that either way. But I learned that I could still keep it. And I could still smile and be happy and be a light for people because I took a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in that. And that it actually comes from a much more rich, genuine place now. And so anyways, this is way deeper than I ever get on this show. So thanks for indulging this with me, but I'm all fired up on it. I don't know, Rabbi Jenny did something to me, and Nicole's going to keep it going. So I'm so excited to introduce you to her. Before we get into it, I'm not so fired up that I've forgotten about our weekly sing-along, of course, but it is on theme. You know me too well. It's got to be on theme. So since we are talking about this idea of self-love, sisterhood, and empowerment today, a little of something for everybody, I thought maybe a little Cyndi Lauper would be appropriate. So do a little bit of True Colors. You with those sad eyes, don't be discouraged, oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all and the darkness inside can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. Don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy, and take all you can bear, you can call me up, 'cause you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break. We come back, we're going to be talking to Nicole Zekas of The Unguarded Heart. She's got a lot of amazing things to share with you. You don't want to miss it. Stick around.
Mom's fall was a wake-up call. We knew she needed help, but we also knew she'd never leave her home.
With jobs and kids, we can't always be there. We weren't sure who to trust to help around the house and make sure she takes her medications.
We did our research and found our answer. Bright Star Care. Their home care teams are led by registered nurses, with help available 24/7.
Thanks to Bright Star Care, Mom can stay where she wants to be, at home.
For a standard of care that raises the bar, call 844 for Bright Star.
The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944. You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. I'm your host, Bree Gordon. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to join us. We are live on 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, Facebook Live, video over there at the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute page, and as always on Twitter at PBMTI. That being said, as always, I encourage anyone listening and watching tonight to join the conversation. So that can be commenting on Facebook, writing to us on Twitter, calling into the show, 888-565-1470. In fact, you're really going to be wanting to keep close to the phone because our guest today has a pretty cool giveaway we're going to talk about in a little bit. And we actually didn't talk about a call to action for that, so I'm going to let her come up with what creative things she wants the caller to do to win her giveaway today. But you do want to stick around because I'm so excited to introduce you all to Nicole. Thank you so much for being here, Nicole. And your story, just from the little bit we've talked out there, and kind of following your journey on Facebook and social media, to give you a little bit of a megaphone to share about all this is like, it gives me great joy. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
My pleasure. So just to start at the very beginning, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what kind of led you to wanting to use your passion to help others?
Absolutely. So, a little bit about myself. My background is in education. I have an education background, and I decided that after all this education, I was going to fall into this personal development journey at some point. I had my formal education, but nobody ever tells you about that personal development education that's going to make such a difference in your life. And so, after a while, I started a personal development journey, a transformative journey, like you mentioned. And from that became this passion and purpose of helping other women and becoming a women's empowerment coach, which was part of the Unguarded Journey, which is my website. And really, not only is it a website, but it's really a way of being, a way of letting down the walls and really stepping into a place of living from authenticity and a true unguarded heart.
That's awesome. I love the name of that and just the image of that unguarded heart. And your, the little intro that I read about you in the beginning, just to give people a taste of what they can expect, you share about how there's so much power for you to be able to share your story of challenges and setbacks and triumph and what that means to you. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in my journey, I got to a place of what I like to call a rock bottom. We all get to a place where the way we're living is just not serving us anymore. And for quite some time, I was living the same play in my head, over and over and over again. And I was always looking for something outside of myself, always looking for something to fulfill me that wasn't from within. It was, relationships, career, moving to different locations. And it was the same pattern. And there came a point where I just was tired of playing that story in my mind. And I really, really wanted to change my life. And that's where my personal development journey kind of began. And it was with TLC, which you're familiar with. It was the living course. Prior to that, I've obviously been in therapy, and I had done some personal development there through my past. But
yeah, you don't want to jump into TLC without any precursor.
You have an idea. There's some things, my parents are divorced, and so there were some things there that obviously I looked at. But really, as an adult, it was me taking ownership of my own life in that moment and deciding to be part of this personal development course. And it changed my life. It really showed me some of these patterns that I was doing and how I really had the power to change them and be in control of my own life. And I had a choice. And so from that, the personal development journey just kind of opened like a waterfall. And I hired coaches. I stepped outside of my comfort zone. One of my coaches, I took a trip to Thailand, and we had this amazing experience. And it just became so important to me to continue to grow and to develop personally. And I saw the benefits that was coming to my life because of it.
And that was going to be my next question is what are the benefits that you've observed?
Connection is probably one of the biggest benefits. Also, groundedness. Prior to this whole journey, I think I just always was in my head. And not that I'm not in my head still. There's obviously life happens to us and we follow certain patterns, but it's this groundedness and this way of knowing that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to work out for you. And creating these tools or finding and discovering these tools that actually get you through those difficult times. And before, I just was always in my head, always feeling anxious. And there's a peace and a calmness of being part of this type of personal development journey and doing these types of personal development work that really benefit you in the long run.
And I just want to say thank you for being so open and not only in your own personal journey, but sharing that with others. Because, I mean, for someone at the newer end of this, like myself, I learn from people like you who have got in touch with that vulnerability, not super comfortable.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not like, oh, yeah, the instant I'm there, I'm so glad I'm here. It's tough.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's tough to get to that place. Yes, you see the rewards and the benefits of that, but it is definitely a process. And as you mentioned, we had met originally through TLC, which if, someone hadn't watched the show before, we introduced, or I talked about this for the first time when having Jessica Jansen on the show, and she being a life coach as well, and shared about her journey and what brought her to TLC. But would you mind just doing like a quick little commercial for TLC, what that is, and how people can learn more about it.
Yeah, well, you can definitely go to thelivingcourse.org if you want to find out some more information, and they can definitely reach out to either one of us, and we can put them in contact with some of the people that run the actual Living Course. But it's really a weekend opportunity for everybody, for whoever decides to join the Living Course, to really just tap into some old habits, some old childhood patterns that possibly are coming up in their daily life and their adult relationships, and really getting a hold of that and grasping it and working through it in a very loving environment. And it's an experience, and so you don't want to give too much. You want them to be able to experience it.
So if you feel like it sounds vague, it's because it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just an opportunity for them to really just, not know. And it's an uncomfortable place, but it's really important that they kind of experience it themselves. But if they're on this path where things just don't feel right, and I want to have a change in my life, and I'm living that same story over and over again, it's something that they can definitely explore and talk to somebody from the organization to get some more information about it.
And it's one of those things too, I feel like, I did go with a kind of a directed purpose and things that I wanted to learn about myself. But even if you're feeling like, I think things are okay.
Yeah.
And I generally felt that way. I'm successful. I'm doing all right. I'm getting myself up out of bed every morning. I'm taking on the world. I didn't realize, all these other things that were really hindering me from living at my full potential.
You nailed it. That's exactly the truth, because you'd think to the eye, I have a degree and I have a career and I live on my own. There's to society standards, there's like a checklist.
I've got a golden retriever.
Yeah,
I'm doing great.
Good. You're golden. Literally, you're golden. But there's something internally that will tell you that I could be living a different kind of life that is more peaceful, more grounded, more in awareness of what's going on. And that was the thing for me. I just was tired of playing that same story over and over again. And that was the reason why I chose to go there as well.
And now it's not even the same story. It's a totally different everything.
It is. It's a totally different story that's playing in my mind, and this endless amount of possibility, and this dream big mentality, and this you can do anything, and you're enough, and you're lovable, and things that we don't even realize that we're speaking to ourselves, those negative affirmations instead of positive affirmations that we speak to ourselves so often.
I'll never forget the theme of the weekend that I went, and it was, and I know you've done something, not only been there receiving it, but you actually run the program sometimes, so which is awesome. But it was you are the one you've been waiting for.
Yeah. And it's so true, because it's the theme of us always looking outside of ourselves and realizing that we can give ourselves that love. We can give ourselves what we need, and finding those tools on how to get there and how to do that.
Very cool. So let's and we're going to talk a lot about this in the second half of the show, but just to introduce it, what is the Unguarded Heart? What is your dreams for this, your vision for this?
Yeah, so the Unguarded Heart, like I said kind of before, is it started as a website, as a blog, as a place for me to post a lot of my stories. I felt it was so important to share and be vulnerable and talk about what was going on in my life, because so many times we think we're alone in it and we're not. So it was this place to blog, to post videos, to share my experiences, and really it's a way of being. It's this whole unguardedness and not having walls up. And so it is a website. I also have a Facebook community, a small women's Facebook community called the Unguarded and Empowered Women's Circle. And so people can join in there, and I post more videos.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I love. I screenshot more things from that. I'm just like, I'll need this later.
Thank you.
Seriously, not only just the things that you find, but your commentary on them is so honest, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I needed that today. How did she know that?
The universe has a funny way of giving you what you need.
So thank you for that.
You're very welcome, and I'm glad it's beneficial. But yeah, it's a community, it's a space, and yes, I do focus on women. While men can benefit from it, that's my focus currently, because I was on that journey, and I realized talking to so many women, they're also struggling with showing up in this real and authentic and vulnerable way, and so that's what that community and that space does.
That's awesome. What are some of the feedback that you've heard from people who maybe you've introduced them to this concept for the first time?
They're very appreciative. I think I get similar feedback on like, I was really struggling and, you just said something that totally resonated with me and it made me feel not so alone. Or, I was feeling really down about myself and I'm always the one that's helping other people, yet you said something and it motivated me and inspired me today. And it really gives women in the community the space to just feel, to be, to realize that they're not alone. I think that's the biggest thing. We tend to feel that we need to do this in a closed room, a closed quarters, and we don't have to. And so at least if I can open up a little bit of space for women to show up and feel safe, that's really the whole purpose of it.
I think the biggest hump for me to get over, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, and I'm sure you've maybe heard this before too, is we're generally, even when we're in this guarded position, we're generally like kind, good people that think we're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? We think by the people pleasing and all of this, like we think we are being loving and we're helping people to the best that we really understand how to in that moment. And so for me to shift that, I was like, well, I don't want to seem selfish. I don't want to put the focus back on me. What if that's rude to someone? I don't want to ignore someone else's feelings. And what was the biggest revelation for me was how much more loving and compassionate I could truly be with understanding that it does have to start here.
Yeah, and I know you because and listen, we're still always on this journey.
Sure.
And that's the whole beauty of this is being compassionate with ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally can relate to that, and it does start with yourself.
And I think a lot of people who are drawn to helper professions, I mean, this is why we get into this job, and I remember being in school and going to school for music therapy, and I had a teacher that was like, every good therapist has a good therapist, right? And I was like, what? That can't be true. Therapists got it all together, right? No. And that was, I will never forget that lesson too. That was just like one of those little things I picked up along the way, one of these little lily pads that, kind of leads to this, it doesn't lead anywhere. It just keeps leading on a journey of just like, okay, there's always more to learn about myself, and it's just going to keep, in just making these relationships that we have just richer and richer, and it never stops.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, I don't know, I'm getting on tangents, and there's just so much more to talk about, so much more to share about the awesome work that you get to do every day, Nicole. And so stick around. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We come more with Nicole Zekas talking about the unguarded heart and the unguarded journey. So stick around. The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944.
Mom's fall was a wake-up call. We knew she needed help, but we also knew she'd never leave her home.
With jobs and kids, we can't always be there. We weren't sure who to trust to help around the house and make sure she takes her medications.
We did our research and found our answer. Bright Star Care. Their home care teams are led by registered nurses, with help available 24/7.
Thanks to Bright Star Care, Mom can stay where she wants to be, at home.
For a standard of care that raises the bar, call 844 for Bright Star.
You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. I'm your host, Bree Gordon. I am beyond thrilled to have with me tonight Nicole Zekas from the Unguarded Heart. Thank you so much, Nicole, for joining me. And I know I gave this huge teaser last time of like, Nicole has this great giveaway. We want you to call in and win it. And then I never told you what it was or how to call in and win it. So I'm going to pass it back over to you, Nicole.
Yes. So the awesome, amazing free giveaway will be a 60-minute coaching call with me. We'll get to talk specifically about a particular goal or whatever it is that they're working on from an empowerment perspective. And do you want me to explain
Yes,
how?
please do.
So, of course, in the art of vulnerability and openness, whoever decides to take this, I just want them to share genuinely a vulnerable fact, whether that's how they're feeling today, but not just I'm good or I'm fine, but from a real authentic place.
That is a challenge.
It can be. Yeah, it can
I mean,
be.
how many times do we truly answer, I'm good, throughout
All the
a day?
time. All the
It's
time.
autopilot. I don't even think about my answer to it. I'm just like, yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, how are you? Oh, good. Okay, great. We've
Exactly.
covered that.
Exactly.
So we're asking the first person to call into the show, 888-565-1470, and genuinely answer the question, how are you today? Yeah.
You got
a
it.
60-minute coaching with Nicole. That's amazing. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That's really, really cool. So that kind of leads me to what I want to talk about next. You mentioned a phone call. Is that how you typically do a lot of your coaching?
Yeah, either phone call or I love the face-to-face component. So when I started this journey, I was doing a lot of Empower Hours, and I was doing that in a face-to-face format in Fort Lauderdale, which is where I live. But I wanted to reach more people. And so I realized the online component is super important, but you also want that connection. You want that eye-to-eye contact. You want to feel someone's energy. And so I started doing some, Skype or Zoom or some of those softwares. And my Unguarded Journey program that I just recently launched, we do that via Zoom.
So obviously, best segue ever. What is the Unguarded Journey?
The Unguarded Journey. So it's an 8-week online program that I host for at most 5 women. And it's really every week we get together, we have a specific theme, and we really talk about how to live from an authentic and unguarded heart in an unguarded way. And I know I mentioned to you before, but it was this whole journey of the Golden Buddha, the story of the Golden Buddha. And it's from Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, which kind of was my inspiration for the Unguarded Journey. And really how there was this beautiful Golden Buddha, and they were hiding it from invaders. And they threw dirt on it and mud on it, and it became really solid and covered up. And the whole town forgot that this Golden Buddha ever existed because it was covered up. And something happened where one of the villagers hit into the Golden Buddha, and the stone fell, and this gold appeared. And little by little, they're like, oh my goodness, this was this Golden Buddha. So they started chipping away at it, and they discovered the beauty that was always underneath. And that's kind of the journey that I'm trying to recreate in the Unguarded Journey, where we chip away those masks, we chip away those walls that we keep up, and we really start to see ourselves and love ourselves for that golden beauty that we always have had innately in us.
That's awesome. I love it. I've never heard that story before. Why do you think that specifically spoke to you?
Because it's the way I used to live my life. I was just, I was afraid to be vulnerable. It's very similar stories, and I find women have a lot of similar feelings about it. We keep a mask. We have to feel like we have it all together. Showing weakness is showing emotion, and the two don't necessarily correlate. It really is beautiful to be open and honest and vulnerable and show those sides to us. And so as I started to chip away at the stone and see all of that golden goodness that I had, I kept wanting more and wanting to find that even more, and I did, and wanting to then create that experience for other people.
As you're talking, I just kind of realized it's kind of interesting to think about, yes, I did this course, and yes, I am on this journey, and I read this book, and then I'm talking to you, and how is that actually playing out, in day-to-day real life? So as you're talking, I'm thinking, I did this work event today, and part of that was providing music for a memorial service. And I went, into, TLC and all this stuff, and I'm like, nope, no, there's not even enough fingers on one hand to show you the amount of people I've ever seen cry in my life. No, that is not something I do, right? I'm pretty sure I cried 10 times this event today. I mean, and most of it was honestly just people standing up in this staff meeting saying kudos. I noticed you last week doing this for someone else, and I just want to let you know I think you're amazing and I love you. I mean, it was a staff meeting, and they did this for an hour.
How amazing is that by showing that side of you, the connection between your coworkers just
It was just incredible. And when I got up and I was actually a guest in the room. It wasn't even my place of employment.
Okay.
I was kind of asked as a community member to provide music to help them celebrate someone's life.
Okay.
So it's actually an organization that I volunteer with. And so I kind of first of all, I stood up, I said, I volunteered with this organization going on, my 7th, 8th year. And I've learned more about the work that you all do in the last 2 hours, just hearing you appreciate each other, than I've understood this entire time. And when I got up to sing, I said, but I can't keep coming back here because holy cow.
You're going to just keep crying.
Yeah, exactly. My voice was way shakier than I would ever be comfortable as a professional singer. And I was probably able to reach more people through my music because of that.
Yeah.
Instead of the whole time judging myself, I can't believe my voice is shaking so much right now. I should have it together. And I allowed myself to be shaky.
Yeah. Inspiring others is showing your imperfections and loving them anyway. It's
oh my
embracing
gosh, gifts
them.
of imperfections, like Brene Brown.
Brene Brown, one of my favorites.
If you're listening, Brene.
Yes, we love you.
Yeah, we love you. Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, so Unguarded Heart, Unguarded Journey. How can people get in touch with you if you're striking a chord, again, pun intended, with someone listening today who thinks, okay, this could be me. I could be someone who would benefit from this. If you're thinking that at all, it's you.
Yeah.
It's everybody. How can people talk to you more about this?
They can reach me multiple ways. Facebook is definitely a great way. They can find me on Facebook, Nicole Zekes, and they can private message me. They can also join my community on Facebook, the Unguarded and Empowered Women's Circle. If they search for that and ask to join, they can get access to that community as well. www.theunguardedheart.com. That's my website. They can reach me via that way.
Awesome.
And also, if they want to reach me via email, it's Nico, Nico, at theunguardedheart.com.
And just to recap, you're offering group.
Yeah, I offer one-to-one coaching, but I also offer the Unguarded Journey, which is my specific group program, and I'll be launching another program in February. So I'm looking for 5 more women to be part of the process.
The one you have going now, is this your first go
Yeah,
around?
it's my first go around
Cool.
of it.
What are your thoughts on it so far?
It's been so inspiring for me to see the change in the women. I have such a variety of women too. I have young 20s. I have someone in her 40s. I have another woman in her 30s. So it's a great range of women who are in different parts of their life.
Sure.
And how we can all just come together to really support each other on the journey. That's the beautiful part of it.
I love that. That sisterhood, like you talked about. I mean, we're only as strong as we lift each other up, and I love that. So obviously you specialize in working with women. We're talking specific to that, but I thought it was really interesting. We were talking about before the show in the lobby of this balance of masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, definitely. So it's so interesting. For a really long time, and maybe you can relate, I've always felt the need to just be that type A, which I am a type A personality. I've got my to-do lists. I have to have 1,000,001 plans. I'm always busy. And that is a very masculine energy, which is amazing because it gets things done. You have your business, you have your to-do list, your tasks, you get it done. But then there's this beautiful feminine energy that we fail to sometimes look over. And it's not about like male or female, it's that masculine and feminine energy. So it does relate to both men and women. And sometimes we need that gentleness and that softness and that calmness, and allowing ourselves to tap into that, like, hey, I've been working 40 hours, I'm exhausted, and I need to take care of myself. I need to sit down on my couch and light candles and listen to music or meditate or do a yoga class. Whatever it is, being able to tap into that femininity also is going to give you that balance overall. And I think it's creating that awareness of when we need it and when we're in that energy space and tapping into it in that specific time.
Yeah, I love that. And again, I mean, it just anytime we're talking about balance, any idea that you ever hear, we talk to a guest about in the show, sometimes we'll have nutritional people on or something, and it's like, it's easy to get in this, okay, well, if I don't live exactly that way, am I doing it wrong? It's all about that balance. If it's a new idea to enter in, you may not be ready for a 30-hour weekend course.
Exactly.
Or committing to weekly therapy or having a coach, but there's a balance, you know? And actually, I would love to ask you for your advice on that. Someone who's just kind of at the very beginning of even thinking about a personal development journey, what's a good way to get started?
I would say read some books. That would always
That's
be
how
the
I
great
start.
first start. You know, any of Brene Brown's books are absolutely amazing. Gifts of Imperfection, Daring Greatly.
I thought it was just me, but it's not.
Yeah, there's also there's also something called the TED dynamic, which
Okay.
is similar to some TLC verbiage, but it's a very easy read. Start with some of those personal development books and kind of see how they make you feel. If it kind of is like, this is interesting, I'd like to learn a little bit more, maybe dive in deeper. And then, you know, being part of some sort of community, reaching out to someone that might possibly live that life right now and maybe bouncing some ideas or just having a general conversation about where you are, that can be really supportive. And then you can dive deeper into more intensive work.
I think you have to be ready for it.
You do. And that's why I mentioned the whole rock bottom. There was just a point where I was like, I'm done living this type of life or living this kind of way. And you decide to do it differently.
You know, and how lucky are we, or I guess that's perspective, but to be at a rock bottom and know these options.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a blessing.
It is.
It is.
And to have this chance for, you know, new beginnings, like we were talking about earlier, this transformation, just knowing that there are ways to live to your fullest potential and to have this richness. And to me, it sounds like that's what your kind of mission is with this. Is like, I benefited from it. Here's how. And this is how I want to share with you.
That is exactly how it is. And I just want to give other women the opportunity to do it for themselves. They have to want it ultimately. I can't force it. But giving them that avenue, giving them that space, and giving them that love and support to then do it for themselves. That's really...
From a really genuine place.
Yeah,
definitely. I love that. That's awesome. We're going to take it even more personal, if you could possibly imagine, because we're talking about vulnerability. And, you know, when I was doing a little bit of research on you today, I found a very vulnerable moment of yours from a couple years ago on one of your Facebook pages. And I thought, hey, this would be fun. Remember when you were super vulnerable 2 years ago? How would you like to do that again on live radio? You're not going to want to miss this. So stick around. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We come back. Again, we're still looking for your vulnerability. So call in 888-565-1470. We've got an awesome giveaway, an hour coaching with Nicole. So call into the show. We'll be right back after a brief commercial break.
Mom's fall was a wake-up call. We knew she needed help, but we also knew she'd never leave her home.
With jobs and kids, we can't always be there. We weren't sure who to trust to help around the house and make sure she takes her medications.
We did our research and found our answer. Bright Star Care. Their home care teams are led by registered nurses, with help available 24/7.
Thanks to Bright Star Care, Mom can stay where she wants to be, at home.
For a standard of care that raises the bar, call 844 for Bright Star.
The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944. You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections, where I still pinch myself every day. I get an hour a week to do just that, to connect the community with some people that I've met along my journey, along my way, and sometimes they're completely strangers and surprises to me and become part of the journey, that are just doing awesome things every day, working in healthcare, working in education, working in wellness, working in our community, sometimes volunteering, sometimes as a caregiver. And, you know, they just have something really creative, a little bit different, a little bit outside of the box way to reach, connect and communicate with others, and again, today is no exception. So, Nicole, again, thank you so much for being here, sharing this time with me. We're talking vulnerability, authenticity, showing up. If these are words that are foreign to you, they were to me also last year. I was like, I don't know what. Yes, I showed up. I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah.
You know, my body is physically here. I showed up, and really understanding what that actually means. I mean, honestly, I'm going to have you just kind of share, like, what does that mean to you, showing up?
Yeah, I use that now quite a bit. Yeah. And what it is really the choice you make in how you want to present yourself to the world. So you can show up and be guarded, and you can be without emotional integrity and just be there and take space. Or you can show up in a way that is vibrant and real and open. And when that happens, there's just so much amazing benefits, like we've discussed. And so it's really a choice. It's really a choice of how you decide to show up.
I love that. And it really is like a new language, this personal development journey, as we keep referring to it. And another one that I love that you said, and I'm going to ask you to define this also, or define it in your own way, is when something is not serving us anymore, you said. What does that mean, serving?
Well, you know, we all have this inner voice, this intuition, and something that speaks to us and lets us know when something just doesn't feel right, and something that just doesn't make our life our added benefit. It doesn't add any value to what we're doing, to who we are, to our career, our life, whatever the case may be. So if something isn't serving you, you get that kind of gut feeling. You know that it's no longer in best. And it's all about having that awareness.
Right.
So if you don't know what that is, you know, you're going to take some time in getting some clarity, but eventually you'll kind of get the point where you're like, all right, this is just not working for me, which is kind of like that rock bottom.
Right. Well, I was just going to say, I think for a while it appears to be a comfort zone, and I'm comfortable here. And then it's really, you get to a point where you're confronted with it. Is it serving me? Is it not? You know, and it's the same idea, which I talked about last week, which was another TLC idea of picking up and letting go.
Yeah.
You know, in having the strength and the awareness to let go of things that are just not benefiting.
Yeah, and you'll also get there and realizing that even along this path, there's going to be moments when you fall back on old patterns or something that may not serve you. Again, it's not just like this all-knowing, like you said, like a therapist is all-knowing.
Right.
No, we're all human, but tapping into that feminine energy of being compassionate and loving with ourselves when, say, we don't get it right the first time, or it's taking us a little bit of time, you know, to get to that place.
Oh my gosh, another reason I love your community and your post, because it's just recognizing that not perfect, you know, and we've done a lot of work, and sometimes it is hard when you kind of, you know, fall off that wagon, or however you want to say it, and it's like, I felt like I was doing so much work, and yet here I am feeling insecure, or, you know, or doing the same habits. It's not an ending place.
Yeah, it's okay. You get to learn again.
Yes.
You get to learn again.
I love that. How exciting. To do it again.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so 2 quick things. One, we still have an awesome giveaway out there. Call into the show, 888-565-1470, and share truly, genuinely, authentically, how are you today? That's all you have to do. Just tell us how you're feeling today. And the giveaway prize is
a 60-minute one-on-one coaching call with me.
That's awesome. If we don't get a call by the end of the show, because we are just about 8-9 minutes away from wrapping up here, we'll roll that over to social media. So you can check us out on Facebook at Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute, or Twitter at PBMTI. And again, first person to either call in or reach out on social, let us know how you're feeling today. Now, it's a lot easier on social.
Or exactly, if they can step outside the comfort zone, that's where the
It's a
magic
lot easier on
happens.
social. So I might, until the show ends, doesn't count. Sorry if you just did it on social. Until the show ends, call wins. Call trumps it. Yeah,
like it.
because that is going outside the comfort
Yeah,
zone.
that's vulnerability.
It is vulnerability. Speaking of, did a little research on you today, and the first thing that popped up is this video of, hey, I've always wanted my whole life to sing in front of people. And so you made a video with a friend who is a musician.
Yeah, she plays guitar.
And you put it out there for the world.
I did.
And you know what I didn't see when I clicked on that? Comments saying, oh, that's horrible. Why'd you do that? No. What did
Very
you?
supportive. I was excited. I was nervous to put it out there.
So we're nervous, and I think our biggest fear is, right, like it's going to rejection. You know, of course.
Yeah, you automatically think you're not good enough.
Right.
Everyone's going to make fun of you.
And what did everybody say?
Nothing but supportive and loving. You did great.
So and what I saw beyond just the you did great, and you know our friends are going to tell us that because you know, but thank you, thank you for doing that. You know, thank you for doing something that scared you a little bit.
Thank you for doing that so that you kind of give me the space to actually do it too, which is nice.
That wasn't enough for me. I said, hey, Nicole, I saw that you always wanted to sing in front of people, and that's cool. You made a Facebook video. How about coming on live radio and singing the same song again? And you said,
Yes.
she said yes. So we're probably not going to close this out today, but for the next couple minutes, it's going to give you all plenty of time to think about your vulnerability and to call in to win this awesome giveaway. So we're going to do the same song that you shared online, which was
Fix You by Coldplay.
awesome. Oh, we've never rehearsed this, by the way. It's fine. When you
Try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired that you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. When the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Beautiful. Let's do one more verse.
Okay.
Awesome.
High up above or down below. When you're too in love to let it go. If you never try, you'll never know just what you're worth. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was
so
awesome.
fun.
That was so beautiful.
That
okay.
was fun.
Just, I mean, I don't even know. To me, that would probably be like coming here and playing piano. Okay, seriously. I mean, no, but like sitting at a piano or a keyboard is one of the most frightening things that I can do. And I don't mean like in terms of music world. Like I just mean in general. It's just been since I was a kid. I could not get it. I mean, thank God the guitar is a thing. Otherwise, I'd just be doing a lot of karaoke because it frightens me so much. And I'm like sitting here listening to you and that you share this. I'm like, I should do that sometime. That scares the heck out of me.
This is scary, but it's like we got to connect even more and connect with the listeners. And I'm definitely shaking, but it's okay.
It's a good byproduct, right?
Yes,
It's a
yes.
reward, as I like to say. I mean, I hope that's a good word for it, right?
Yeah.
It's like a reward that you get because you do something challenging, going outside of your comfort zone, and I think looking for the opportunities in every day presents something.
Even the smallest little thing, like
Yeah.
going to a grocery store and probably striking up a conversation with even just the cashier, something like that, being vulnerable in that space, it creates connection.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun experience to do even on that level.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, thank you so much for that moment. That was probably one of my favorite moments
Thank
that's happened. Just
you.
looking
Oh
up
my
and
God,
seeing
I'm
you
having
and
fun.
we're
Thank
so
you.
cool. We've got 3 minutes left, so I would love for you to just take another opportunity to run down the services that you offer and how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so yes, The Unguarded Heart. You can check me out on my website at theunguardedheart.com. You can also find me on Facebook. My name is Nicole Zekes, or definitely join my group, the Unguarded and Empowered Women's Circle. You can find me on Instagram too, The Unguarded Heart, or Nico1202.
I don't know if I'm.
I don't know if you're following, but that's a new. You can follow that. Yeah, and I also have a page on Facebook, The Unguarded Heart. And if you want to email me personally, Nico Nico at theunguardedheart.com. Awesome. And then the programs, one-to-one coaching. I specialize in creating a specific program based after we have our little heart talk. I call them heart talks. Kind of getting to know where you're at and then developing a program from there. And then I have the Unguarded Journey, which is an 8-week online women's group program.
That's awesome. And I love that idea of it's limited to 5, honestly, because I mean, there's intention in that, right?
Yes.
You know, that it's a safe space. We are going to roll over your awesome giveaway to social media. Or we're letting you off a little easy here.
It's
But
okay.
first one on social, because it's still not a private message. Got to be out there.
Yes.
On Facebook or Twitter to let us know, genuinely, how are you feeling today?
I love it.
I love it too. Thank you, Nicole, so much for being on today and for sharing your story. And I know it's reached others. It's reached me. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I've had such a fun night.
Awesome. My pleasure. And through all this, I've got another connection through a TLCer who's going to be my guest next week. So the joy just keeps spreading. So don't miss that. We'll see you again next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you for listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. We hope you enjoyed today's program and discovered new ways to bring music, art, and dance into your home or workplace. Please find a copy of today's show at pbmti.com. If you have any questions for our guest or myself, please email me at Bree, that's BREE, at pbmti.com, or call the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute at 561-747-9944. Tune back in next week for an all-new live show. See you then.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach.